Good afternoon and welcome to Padre's Ponderings.
Hello, hello. Hola.
Hola, very good. You about choked on your peppermint.
Yeah, about did. Got to finish crunching it up here right quick like that.
I know.
So
as the countdown started going, you crunch, 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 trying to get rid of the peppermint.
Your mom would give me a bad time if I had it in my mouth.
That's so cute, though. We have peppermints on all the campuses because of you started with throwing peppermints at the historic campus, and now we have them at the Connect desk at Cross Point, and the kids, when their parents go get them, that's the first stop.
Yeah.
They go for the peppermints.
That's it.
A few adults do,
thing.
but definitely the kids come and get their peppermint.
Sure.
So we
Very
order
special.
huge, as my grandfather would
That's
say,
right.
bags of peppermints.
So do you get that from Amazon or place, or you just pick it up locally?
Depends. Sometimes Sam's if they have them, but sometimes they don't have them.
So that would be a staple. Like the original Listerine, but your mama says you can't find it everywhere.
Because nobody's as tough as you.
Old Spice.
That original Listerine is no joke.
Yeah, well, it's not supposed to be.
I know it's supposed to kill germs, but
It'll do it. You get a cut.
harsh. Yeah, it'll heal
I do
a
that.
cut.
Cut myself shaving. That's the first thing I do. Put Listerine on it
And then your face is on fire.
for a moment or two, but straight after that,
It's healed.
it's healed. It's antiseptic. It's like a lot of things that you can use them for all kind of stuff. Yeah. When I was little, you make do with what you got.
Well, yeah.
You didn't have Gorilla Glue and all those things people swear by today. You didn't have any of that kind of stuff. You didn't have all the, the idea of going to a doctor for a cold or something like that. Shoot, that didn't exist. And we were, when I was little like that, Daddy was in the Navy, and so you could go to the Navy hospital for free. But they didn't truck with any of that stuff coming in there with a cold and stuff. You were supposed to suck it up. The hospital was for sick people, really. I was in there a lot for cuts. I was bad about that.
Falling from trees and breaking your knee open.
Did I tell you, I started to put it in a sermon, but I didn't do it. We were living on Admiral Drive during the Korean War. Lady down the street, she had two boys, and we played together. Everybody played together then. But anyway, you played in the summertime. As soon as school was out, you put on the shorts, took your shoes off, shirt, and you just went around. You had a pair of shorts on. Underwear, I think. I'm not sure about that.
Depends.
Not sure about that.
You were little.
Charleston was hot.
It was.
Hot in the summertime. God, hey. But anyway, and so you played. You went home and had supper, and then you played till it got dark.
Right.
And there was one or two. I don't even know if there was street. You just played till the sun went down. So I'm playing down there at the neighbor's, and she had cats, and they stayed outside, but she had cats. And I'm running around barefoot with everybody else there. I don't know what we were playing or anything. But anyway, she had Spam for supper. So she opened up, she threw the empty Spam can in the backyard, but she was going to use it to feed the cats.
Oh my gosh, I see where this is headed.
And man, when I stepped on that thing, it cut my foot all the way to the bone.
And the amount of bacteria in your foot.
Golly, they cut it to the bone. But you know what? They pounded me. One of them got a rag from someone. I don't know where the rag came from.
Again.
Anyway.
So much.
Anyway, put me in the wagon. We had one wagon on the street. We had one bicycle on the street. Anyway, the wagon happened to be at that house that day. And so they put me in that wagon and took me home. Mom put me, Mr. Mack, put me in the car, took me to the Navy hospital. They sewed it up. But you're in and out. I mean, this wasn't any deal. But you didn't go to the hospital for trivial things. Spam. Remember those Spam cans you had that
you used to peel, like it had a key.
Yeah, that's right. It had a key, and you cast that little metal strip and it went around there. And that thing was like a razor blade. It was just that thin metal, whoa. Spam was good. Spam sandwich?
A fried Spam sandwich.
Ooh.
It's really popular in Hawaii, apparently. I've never been to Hawaii, but apparently Spam is very popular in Hawaii.
Yeah, Spam. 2 pieces of light bread.
Cannot tell you the last time I had
A
Spam.
little mayonnaise. A piece of Spam. Tomato.
It's one of those
tomato.
things where you do not want to read the ingredients.
No. You're supposed to eat it.
No.
See, that's one of those things people have gone down a wrong trail there. You know, people are going to a grocery store and they'd look at the labels. What is that about? You're supposed to look at the pictures.
That's what they want you to do, right?
Look at the pictures and drop it in the basket. God, we're so critical about stuff. Don't you think? You know, and the thing is, they look at the label, you know,
the
and
marketers
there's
are
all
going for
these long words in it. They got no clue what those words mean.
But that's the point. If it's got those long words, it's
Yeah.
probably not good to put in your body.
But it ain't a question about good. It's about, is this ketchup or not? You know? And you could tell by looking at
Friends, you never know what's going to happen on Padre's Ponderings.
we make life too complicated. We really do.
You know what? Sometimes we do.
Oh, God, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, you gotta go with it. You know, back when I was a little fellow like that, you know, life was easy. Now that didn't mean it was simple. It was easy.
It was simple. It wasn't easy. Well, it was to you because it was simple.
But you know, decisions were pretty easy to make. You know, you cut your food, you go get a soda up. It's a bruise, suck it up. You know, you just didn't panic. You didn't panic over little things. That's the thing. And the reason was, everybody in the neighborhood was connected to the Navy Yard, and so everybody.
A part of that was your community.
That was it. See. And so everybody was aware of wars going on, people are dying, all this kind of stuff. And so everything was put in the context of life and death. You know? And if it didn't rise to that level, you didn't panic over it. You know, while we were in Charleston, Charleston was a huge Navy base then. A destroyer, the Hobson was the name of it, was stationed there, home port there. It had come back from a tour of duty in the Pacific. It was back in there. Guys were on shore leave and all that. So they were having maneuvers and things, night maneuvers out off of Charleston, about 100 miles. And that the captain of the destroyer missed the signal, and the whole task force turned into the wind. He turned this way, and the aircraft carrier cut that destroyer in half. And it went down like that. Several hundred men died right there in the night.
Oh my gosh.
And go to the battery in Charleston now. Mm-hmm. There's a big stone pillar right there. It has the names of all those men on there. Right in front of the old Francis Marion Hotels, apartments, condominiums or something. Right there. So I mean, life and death was a reality. So you did little things. You didn't have moms and grandmamas and all that. They didn't truck with that. So, but that's another story. What do you got today?
So you're on I think you were pondering in that train of thought because of your sermon coming up this weekend.
Yeah. So my sermon starts out in my neighborhood. So
you get to see a picture of second grade Padre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When his hair really was highlighted.
There's a little yeah, that was, you know, all three of us were blonde-headed then. Yeah. I don't know. I think are babies born with blonde hair now? A lot. They used to be.
Or it turns blonde, and then you get older and it gets darker.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, so what do you got going there?
This is from my friend Ed Young. He sent this, and I just really
Ed Young or Ken Young?
Ken Young, I'm sorry. There is an Ed Young.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a pastor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
There's
Ken. This is Ken.
There's a big Baptist church in Texas.
Yes, okay, Dallas, I think. All right, so he sent this, and I thought it was really nice. The concept that conquers problems. In my pocket, as I write these words as a card, I always carry with me. It came to me many years ago, and I have retyped it occasionally because it gets ragged and worn. On it are 5 lines by James Dillett Freeman as follows. The light of God surrounds me, the love of God enfolds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. He sends me copies from devotionals and things like that he reads often because he thinks that you need to write a devotional too, similar to that. Dad, I want to hear your story. He thinks you should write your story.
What? Mm-hmm. Gosh, I tell my story all the time.
I think that's the idea. You need to have it in one book.
Oh, okay.
So maybe your sermon's in a book. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It says, why do you carry this card? Because the image that it evokes of a loving, caring God is the perfect antidote to fear, to worry, to anxiety, to just about every problem under the sun. Whenever I'm troubled, I take the card out and let it remind me that there's an all-powerful being in the universe who loves me and who is only a prayer away. This is the greatest concept that the human mind can hold. The more intensely you imagine it, the happier you are to be, because you will never feel abandoned or alone. So that's similar to the crosses that you give out, that people pocket crosses.
Just a little reminder.
That you talked about in your sermon a couple of weeks ago. That reminder of
just a little physical touchstone. Yep, very important. So, are you writing a book?
I am not writing a book right now. I'm trying to write a graduate paper, and it's not coming together.
What is it on?
Oh, here's a good question that I have to answer in my paper, and I haven't gotten this far yet. The course is on Paul. The whole course has been on Paul.
St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I know some Pauls. So.
Well, okay, the Paul that changed history, maybe. Not Paul Simon. Do you?
I think those guys were high when they were writing those songs. You know that?
I'm sure. Do you? Okay. Do you think that the church today? I need you to help me formulate this. Do you think the church today is more a Paul church or a Jesus church? Like realistically.
You're talking about Paul when he was Saul, or Paul when
he
was Paul?
Paul. They wrote the epistles, Paul, after conversion.
I figured it out. You gave me a few clues who you're talking about.
I think it's a really good question.
Well, it is.
It's thought-provoking because you just have to think of the church as a whole.
Paul, and I don't think that Paul, on his best day, would say that there was a great gap between him and Jesus in their approach to the gospel. And I think that would be the way that all of us ought to hope, that we approach the gospel, the sharing of the gospel, the living of the gospel, being the church, being the body of Christ, being Christians, that we approach that in the way that Jesus did. If we approach it decidedly different, then we're not being faithful. Mm-hmm. And if we look at Paul as the foremost Christian of his time, which I think many would say, and the one who had the most to say about living as a Christian, I would hope that there wouldn't be a whole lot of difference between the two. Does that blow the thesis of the paper?
No, I don't have a thesis yet. That's why I'm asking the question. But when you look at the church today, I know that's the way it should be.
Paul was all about breaking down barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Jesus was all about, was breaking down barriers. I think one of the things that perhaps the church today is not good at is we tend to hang on to barriers. And in the absence of them, we erect those because we feel safe behind barriers. It's about a self-preservation, a self-protection, as opposed to being vulnerable for Christ. The early church was all about eliminating distinctions. And the church today, we're big on denominations and the things that separate us, and we see the world as having to come to us. And if you want to come to us, then before you walk in the door, you need to believe like us and behave like us and dress like us and all of those kinds of things. Whereas the New Testament church was all about breaking down the doors and breaking down the church and getting out into the world. The whole concept of Jewish faith around the temple was that it was structured on facilities, on buildings, and that God was found inside the buildings. And the whole concept of Christianity is that he's not restricted to a place, that he's everywhere. And that wherever you are, he is. And Paul was very, very much that way. Very much that way. So, what was the question again?
Do you believe the church today is more of a Paul church or a Jesus church?
I would say it's more of a Saul church.
Oh.
That could go somewhere.
That could go somewhere. I'm going to ponder on that for a little bit. That's true, though.
Yeah, it is.
I really believe
It
that
is.
when you think about it,
Oh yeah. We want to own. We want to claim what's given as our rightful due, as opposed to grace. But church today is a complicated thing, and it's getting more complicated.
Filled with people. It's filled with people.
Oh yeah.
Because we're complicated.
Yeah. And that's what I'm preaching on this Sunday from the parable of Good Samaritan. It's about that same thing. Breaking down barriers, and who do you choose to associate with and not associate with, and what does it mean to be a Christian? So that's the essence of what that parable is about, and then how do you live into it, and what do you have to go through to really be a Christian on the road of life? That's kind of where I'm going with that. So I think it gets there. Call it the two-edged sword of Christianity. Yeah, cuts both ways. So you gonna be able to do anything with that paper? Why isn't it coming together?
I just haven't sat down with all the books. So
Well,
that's
before you
today.
sit down with the books,
That's
you need
tonight.
to ponder some.
Right. So I print off the directions, because the directions of what you have to include is quite extensive. And then I ponder, and then I look for, because you have to cite sources and stuff. So I've got some really good sources, though.
I'm sure. Yeah, there's a lot in that big book.
That's definitely one.
That's
Well,
definitely
N.T.
one.
Wright.
N.T. Wright's are good too. Yeah.
He's done a lot on Paul.
There's a lot of those conservative theologians that can speak into the reality of the church, because they're not. Most of them are not denominationally bound. There are exceptions, but most are not. They take the broad look at the gospel, and they see it transcending what human beings do with it. So.
One of the books we had to read, it was 4 different perspectives on Paul. Rabbi, a Reformed rabbi, new perspective. Oh, what was the other one? I think it was the one I didn't like. I can't remember.
The one you didn't like.
Yes, as I was reading it, I'm like, this man's just making me mad. But it's interesting.
That's part of that is, there are different perspectives. And we do have a tendency, if we don't like the message, we dismiss the messenger. That's the quick way to do it. Oh, he had nothing to him. Then you don't have to think about the message. But one of the things about any kind of paper like that is you need to.
It was Catholic. That wasn't the one that made me mad, but the other
You
one
need
was
to get in
Catholic.
touch with people that have different perspectives. Because from their perspective, they're right. You know?
Well, and it's so interesting when you're all reading the same stuff, but you have 4 different people with 4 different
Sure.
perspectives on the same thing.
But because they've come from 4 different backgrounds, and they're looking at the same words through a different lens. You know, it's like your mama has these prisms in her glasses, and she has prisms and progressive stuff too. So it's a lot of different things going together in there. So if she takes her glasses off, she sees one thing. She puts them on, she sees something else. Different perspective. But it all works through the lens of experience. And experience involves what you have been exposed to in the way of folks who have influenced your thought process, what you've read or what you've not read. But that's another story. Did I give you enough for your paper now?
It helps. Thank you very much. I was talking to somebody the other day at school, and they're like, I need to just go over and sit down and talk to Padre. I'm like, you should. If the door's open.
So how did you like that? I saw the picture. Who took the picture of the Cross Schools faculty in front of the historic church?
That would be Luis. He's a photographer.
That's a really good
that
picture.
works
So much
at the
color in
school.
there.
He uses some enhancements, but it pulled out the reds and the blues of the school colors. But it was really well done.
So where is that posted? Is it on our website somewhere?
It is on social media. It's on our social media and the schools, and I'm sure the school's going to put it on their website. They've got a new website to roll out with the school year.
Really?
So I haven't looked to see if it's on there, but I would imagine
That's a big undertaking. Change the website.
Changing the website is no joke. Kelly Williamson has been working on, I think, all summer.
So he takes pictures and he has an enhanced, what do you?
Photoshop, where you can go in and you can do some enhancements with color and
I saw a commercial.
erase people if you don't want them in there.
I saw a commercial with Marie Osmond on it. So
She's photoshopping
in there. Has been, and more. She's been reconstructed. There's been some heavyweight construction. She probably got one of those federal grants. Infrastructure. Whoa.
Yeah. She would have to be in her 70s.
Oh, every bit of that.
Have to be. Donnie and Marie was a big deal in like the early 70s.
I think he's still doing stuff. That he's not
in
doing
Vegas,
stuff
he has
together.
a Vegas show.
Wow.
I think.
Well, that's great.
So Luis also takes all the staff pictures. So they've probably been doing that the last couple of days, or coming up, where he'll take the staff pictures and
For the yearbook or for the web page?
for the yearbook and for the web page. And one time he took Elizabeth Markle's picture and he added like makeup and lipstick and
Really?
to Elizabeth. And she
never wears any of that stuff.
Exactly. And she saw it and she's like, who is this? Like, this is not me. Please tone it down. This is not me.
Whoa.
It looked great, but it's just
wasn't
not her. Yeah. But he takes really good pictures. So
He's been working with the school for a long time.
golly, at least 10 years.
Long time.
So
I'm excited about all the people that got some nice. I met some of the new people. Very
Yep.
nice.
they have a chapel in here in the morning at I think like 8. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Then the kids arrive on Thursday. So they'll
Big day.
have one more chapel in
Now,
here
will they
just
have
as
on
the
Thursday?
staff.
Will that first day be a full day?
Charlie, it is? Whoa, it is.
So they want the parents to put the children out and leave.
Yes. So Charlie is teaching, what is it, 7th grade? And you're going through the Gospel of John. I might have to pop in sometimes. That's going to be a really good class.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of great work over there with that. Very special.
Yeah, great faith formation team. Lots of new faces. We'll have to have some of them come and sit here with you sometime if it fits in their schedule.
Yeah, that'd be good.
To introduce them. Andy Nix, who runs the counseling center. His wife Stacy is on staff.
Now, she taught over there at Veritas for how long?
She,
Long time.
yeah.
Greek and
I don't know
Latin.
how long they lived in Savannah, but she is switching to faith formation instead of Latin. I think that's a good change. I think she's excited for the change. Yeah. So.
When I was in high school, I had to take 2 years of Latin and 2 years of French. So, and then after that, and they wanted you to take Latin. Everybody took Latin. They wanted you to take Latin so that you could learn all the roots for the words, and it would help on the vocabulary part of the SAT. And then I think in my senior year, they decided to do away with the Latin, and they taught a vocabulary course that taught the roots, and you didn't learn the Latin to get to it. They just cut to the bottom line.
So were you like, what's up?
No, by then I'm parlez-vous-ing. I'm thinking, now how is this going to help? I could at least could see what they were talking about with the Latin. And I'm never going to France to speak French. You know, have you ever
did
seen
go
a
to
new?
France?
Yeah, I did go. Pass through. I saw it. Eiffel Tower. A day or two. That's about it. Not much over there. Anyway, but you ever? I never have seen a time when I needed French in the United States.
Go to Canada.
And I've watched press conferences and stuff over there. I've been to Canada. They speak English up there.
No, the one
We got
that is
some stuff.
helpful now is Spanish.
Well, I'm learning that.
Because if you,
Andale?
yes, you are. You're getting better.
No, not Aruba.
No. Well, that's a place.
It's a place.
Ariba.
No.
Reba. Remember from Looney Tunes?
Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway. a lot of.
You've never been to Aruba.
No. What would you go there for? That's
Vacation. You don't do that. So.
Aruba. What's the place? Cancun? No. What is the place that you go to?
Cabo.
Cabo. Yeah.
Those are vacation places you would not know about.
Went to, your mom and I went to Hawaii and ministered over there for a couple of weeks.
For work.
Yeah. But the more you travel, the more you see that things look a lot alike.
Oh, well, everybody has
Yeah.
similarities.
You go
Every
to the
place
beach
has
here.
similarities.
You go to the beach here, and you look out. You go to the beach in Hawaii and look out. The scenery's the same.
Sort of.
Big body of water out there.
It's not in the Caribbean, though. The water looks totally different.
Well,
I'll actually get in that water. I don't get in the water here. Charlie pulls out sharks. Like, I would like to at least see the shark that I'm swimming with than to be
You'd like
surprised.
to see him just before.
Right. I would rather be in the know.
See the trouble coming.
I like to be in the know.
Yeah, see the trouble coming. Anyway.
All right, we got to wrap this up. There's no telling what you're going to talk about next.
I was thinking about seeing the trouble coming. Did you ever see the Roadrunner
I loved
cartoons?
Looney Tunes.
The Roadrunner was my favorite. Beep, beep, boo, he's gone.
And the TNT falling.
The poor old coyote.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yep.
So what were you going to say?
He never could see it coming. That's what
No, he couldn't. And that was what was
couldn't
funny.
see it, yeah.
Like, we laughed at him
Yeah.
because he couldn't see what was coming.
And see, it wouldn't be funny if you were looking at the water and saw the shark come. That wouldn't be funny.
Well, Charlie tells me they're not interested in you. They're trying to catch the fish. They're not trying to catch me.
But if you get in the way, or if they mistake you, you get a cross-eyed shark or something like that. Haven't you seen those pictures? Different perspective.
Oh my gosh.
Moving along.
Moving along. We need canned chicken and cereal at the food bank.
ketchup, mustard. It's the yellow,
don't read
the
the
yellow
label.
bottle and the red bottle.
Don't read the label. Just grab some.
That's right. Labels are overrated.
Well, I'm glad that somebody else is reading the labels to know what's good to feed you. You don't have to do that.
No, I don't. And I think Becky does.
Yes, she does. Extensively.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Ask her when you get home tonight. Are there
Now, what
things
would be-
that you don't buy because of it's on the label? And she's going to give you a long litany of things.
We had corned beef hash yesterday. What do you reckon the label of corned beef hash would say?
I don't know, but it's got lots of unusual stuff, I'm sure.
She had some great bacon this morning that they cut.
Oh, it's so good, the Applewood. So
No telling what's on that label either. See, so why would you even look at the label? You know it's good.
Okay. All right, friends. I think we're going to wrap this up. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
That's it?
Thanks be to God. That's it. We're done.
See you when I see you. Blessings.